Shalom. Welcome to Eretz Israel. I'm Avraham Shira. Welcome to our Erev Shabbat talk. We try to do every week around this time. Erev Shabbat is a time of chaos before redemption. Before every redemption in your life, has to be chaos. Otherwise, you wouldn't know that you were in redemption. So every Friday, there's this chaos in a Jew's life, getting ready for the redemption of Shabbat. Because every Shabbat redeems every week. And that's a paradigm that we build into the entire history of humanity. Okay, today we're going to talk about Kabbalat Pnei Shabbat, Kabbalat Pnei Shekhinah, but Kabbalat Pnei Orchim. It's an amazing idea if you look at it. There's this idea the rabbis teach, Gadol Kabbalat Pnei Orchim mi Kabbalat Pnei Shekhinah, that it is greater to receive the face of guests. To receive guests is greater than receiving the face of God. What? Receiving guests is a great thing. You open your door, you invite them in, you sit down, you give them something to drink, something to eat. You know, in the old days you might wash their feet or have somebody else do it, depends on where you're holding. But greater than receiving the face of God, Kabbalat Pnei Shekhinah, how can that be? Why do the rabbis say that? Are they just trying to encourage us to do a mitzvah of receiving guests? No, the rabbis don't operate that way. The sages are sages for one reason. They understand the workings of creation behind what we do. Understand, it's not just a book of laws. It's a book of teachings that emerge from creation itself. That's the Torah. So, Gadol Kabbalat Pnei Orchim, receiving the face of guests for Shabbat is greater than receiving the face of the Shekhinah. Why? So, thinking about this a little bit, it kind of came clear like this. When you receive the face of God, you are receiving from the divine. You're receiving the light, you're receiving joy, you're receiving perception, you're receiving vision. But it's all about you receiving. But when you receive guests, it's not about you anymore. It's not about me receiving a guest. It's about the guest. It's not about receiving at all. It's about giving. It's about turning the light around from the desire to give, from the desire to receive. Like the Bala Sulam repeats over and over in his Torahs. And he's got thousands of pages of Torahs. Rabbi Yehuda Ashlag, he said the main work of a man in this world is to turn our desire to receive into the desire to give. And that doesn't mean just the desire to receive $1 million versus the desire to give it away. It means the desire to receive anything at any level. Even the face of God is less important than receiving a guest, because that's what the rabbis are teaching. When you receive a guest, you're being godly. When you receive the face of God, you're still being a human receiving. So you see the difference? You're turning the energy around from, it's not about me, it's about you. It's about the other person. Now think about it. When you go to somebody's house, it's a little uncomfortable there at the front door. You know, maybe you're new in town, maybe you're new in the village, or you're new in the skyscraper. It doesn't matter. When you go into somebody's house, you're entering a different zone that you know, hopefully, is not your own. And it requires a certain shift in respect when you enter somebody else's space. Now, that shift in respect, we all feel it Hopefully we all feel it when we enter a synagogue or a holy place. But do we feel it when we enter our friend's house? Maybe a lot of times we forget. You're used to walking into your friend's house. Sometimes people walk in without knocking. That's another level. Some people go straight for the refrigerator. That's even another level. But you see here, when we enter somebody's house, it makes us a little uncomfortable, a little bit, okay, what do I do next? Let me follow the balabait. Let me follow the host. So you see, when you receive them, you're putting them at ease when you receive them properly. And putting somebody at ease is a spiritual goal. It is a spiritual transformation. You make someone feel better. You make his day. You make his night. You make his Shabbat. You make his life, maybe. If you receive the right person in the right way at the right time, you can change somebody's life. Now, of course, that requires a lot of other setup, but still. So understand, when we receive a guest, it is greater than receiving the face, the Shekhinah, because when we're receiving a guest, we're doing God's will. And that's the whole point of getting the face of the Shekhinah. God doesn't send you his face because you're a nice guy, maybe, but it's usually because you do his will in a way that's so special. He wants to show you the specialness of the face of Hashem. But when you're doing a mitzvah, it's about somebody else, and therefore we're turning around our selfishness. Now, there is a level where people letet almanat lekabel in Hebrew, to give in order to receive. Now, this is actually a little bit selfish and a little bit selfless, because I'm still giving, but I still want to receive, right? It's a mix there of desires. It's not the pure desire to give, and of course, like a baby is the pure desire to receive. The baby's not thinking about giving his mother pleasure when the baby wants to nurse. But an adult, hopefully we've grown out of that stage of just me, and we're turned into the stage of I want to give. But there's an intermediary stage where our forces are mixed. We want to receive and we want to give. And so we understand from society and the way things work in this world that if I give, I'll also receive. So, if you're a billionaire and you build a big, beautiful synagogue, wonderful. That's called giving. That's big time giving, right? But if I have to have my name on it, there's still something called receiving involved. Now, receiving honor, after you have everything in this world that this world has to offer, what do you get next? Well, most people, they want the honor. Now, what is honor? What is honor? A human being wants to be honored for building a synagogue, or for building a school, or for building a mikveh, or for anything good that you do. I want other people to know about it. That means it's honor. But what is honor? Well, it's attention, right? It's self-aggrandizement. It makes me feel good. So it's still about me. You understand? It's still about my need for grandiosity. And, well, if you learn the books a little bit, you'll see that it's really not about that. It's about man was created in order to aggrandize the Creator, to sing songs to the Creator, to dance before the Creator. Because what an ultimate gift that the Creator gave us is a place that we can perform for Him. And we can sing and play guitar for God. And make Him happy that He created us because we're singing to Him. So you see, when we do things to make God happy, He created us, then we're on the right track. So it's good to build buildings and do good things with money. But if I need to have my name on it, it's going to be a little bit less. But it's still good. It's just not perfect. Okay. Now, what does this all have to do with Kabbalat Pnei Shabbat? In a few hours, we're going to stand in the synagogue, and if we're lucky, we'll be standing in a field outside the synagogue in Tzfat and receiving the Shekhinah there, or at Har Meron, the place of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and we're standing outside beneath the trees of the Upper Galil, or maybe in the broad spaces of Jerusalem at the Kotel. Wherever you receive Shabbat, it's called Kabbalat Pnei Shabbat. That means Shabbat has a face as well. What is the face of Shabbat? To go around with a frown? I don't think so. To go around like thinking about, I should have bought that one. I should have built that one. I should have said that. No. Shabbat is the end of the week. There's no more week left. And the new week has not yet begun. Shabbat is the corridor between the old week, which is over and done, and the new week, which is beginning soon. Shabbat, we get to leave it behind, and we can also forget worrying about the future or thinking about the future. It's a test to keep yourself in the now, believe me. But if you want to be with God, you've got to be in the now, because that's where God is. That's where the face of the Shekhinah is in now. It's not in tomorrow, and yesterday it's too late. So Kabbalat Pnei Shabbat, receiving the face of Shabbat, is receiving a face that reflects your joy in the now. And your lack of concern. Doesn't mean I don't care about yesterday or tomorrow. I care about yesterday because I need to do tshuva on things. And I care about tomorrow because I want to do the right thing. That's fine. But in the Shabbat itself, I need to be in this place, this time, this space, and this mindset called Pnei Shabbat, to receive the face of Shabbat. And so, Kabbalah Pnei Shekhinah, the Shekhinah is a very high level of perception, where you have transcendental moments, where you have psychic interconnections, where you see the past and the future, where you know what things are going on for other people, and you say the right thing at the right time for the right place to heal and fix things. Okay, but Kabbalah Pnei Shabbat is like the doorway of that joy, because the Shekhinah comes to the Jewish people on Shabbat, and the Shekhinah is also, so to speak, at rest. So all three of these concepts, receiving the face of Shekhinah, receiving the face of Shabbat, receiving the face of a guest, all involve receiving. But the thing is, why am I receiving? That's the question we always have to ask. Am I receiving for my honor? Am I receiving for my pleasure? Or am I receiving in order to give pleasure to another? And ultimately, the greatest gift is to know that we give pleasure to God when we do the right thing. Hashem's not sitting in his office somewhere checking in on us once in a while. He is immanent. He is permanent. He is sentient. He is with us. And it is up to us to invite him into our lives, into our hearts, into our minds, and into our door, and onto your face for Shabbat. And then everything starts to tie together so nicely, so sweetly. And, well, that is my blessing to all of us. It's not my blessing, really. I need the gift too. We all give it to each other, to receive your guests properly, to change the discomfort, the awkwardness, to make your house feel like their house, and to receive the Shabbat properly, that you're receiving Shabbat to give God joy, and you're receiving the Shekhinah in order to give light to the world. God bless you all. We'll see you again this week on all the all the platforms. Hi, Kevin. Amazing. There you are. Far away in Orlando. So many years ago. Welcome. And this week we'll be on YouTube, Patreon, Facebook, Insight Timer, Lighthouse Torah Project, Web Yeshiva, whatever platform suits you and works with your timing. Please join us for more of these teachings, because God has blessed us with these teachings in order to share them, not to sit alone in the ivory tower. It gets cold up there. God bless you all. Shabbat Shalom.